Now, we'll make a start. Firstly, I want to say thanks to so many people for making the effort to come today. It's brilliant to see such a big crowd. My name's Pauline, I'm the current treasurer of Naomh Pádraig, and I'd like to welcome you all here today to the unveiling ceremony of our 3 plaques to honour our founding members of Naomh Pádraig in 1953 and all the people involved in the reformation of the club in 1977 and 1992. I'd like to extend a warm welcome to our club president, Paddy McKinney, our club trustee, Patty Keeney, chairperson of Donegal GAA, Mary Coughlin, chairperson of Donegal LGFA, Joanne McKinney, all our invited guests, our club members, volunteers and all the members of the community. I'd like to start with a wee bit of housekeeping if that's okay. So we're going to talk fire exits. We have a fire exit over here to the right. You go down the stairs, head out the front door and out to the gate, and the fire exit down the back, down the stairs, out the front door and out to the back as well, please. I'd also like to mention now that we will be sharing photos of the event publicly, so if anyone has any issue with us, please speak to us individually. So we'll begin with the format of the day. We're going to have 6 guest speakers in total. We will have 5 guest speakers first, and then we'll have the unveiling of 3 plaques, and we'll finish then with a few words from our club president, Paddy McKinney. I'll start with apologies from people who couldn't make it today. So we have Kathleen McInerney, the daughter of Harry Carey, our founding member and our first ever club chairman. Susan Murphy, the wife of Michael Murphy, who was one of our founding members. Susan is represented here today with family members. And Susan had a lovely chat during the week with Patricia and has very fond memories of her time in Lifford. Grace Kelly, the niece of Hugh Doherty, one of our founding members. Daniel Carlin, who is our current referee, couldn't make it today. Kevin and Anne Lynch. Kevin is the son of Willie Lynch, who is honoured in the 1977 plaque. Paul and Jacqueline Lynch. Paul is the grandson of Willie Lynch. He is one of our trustees and also a coach of numerous teams in Naomh Pádraig. Kevin Doherty. Kevin is one of our trustees and is also honoured on the 1977 and 1992 plaque. Francie Hawley, former club referee and honoured on the 1977 plaque. And Marie and Seamus McGonigal, who were honoured in the 1992 plaque. Now I have a message from Marie and Seamus. They wanted us to read out a message today. Thank you very much for the invite to the event in Lifford on Sunday. Unfortunately, we won't be able to make it as we're going to London for the weekend. I have many warm memories of my time as a member of Naomh Pádraig and the girls who kept the club going. I have to thank Dolores O'Kelly for encouraging me to take up refereeing, something I have now enjoyed for over 30 years. I happily recall the under-12 team of 1994 and the Quills and Bannigans. Thanks again and the very best wishes to Naomh Pádraig. So where is Dolores? Where are you sitting, Dolores? That's a lovely message for you, Dolores. So with all that said, let's begin with the speeches. Can I invite our chairman, Martin Crawford, to say a few words, please?
So, G.J. Vicarja, Tafalchamore Rowan, Olig, and Shaw, Tranona, O'Park, McDermidja, Eluffer, Donachich, Kivnakane, Special to Shaw, Tamage Fairwake, Dave, Asabailan, Asakije Shaw, the Kivnu, Kelleru, August Aentis, a Horch, Don Ober, August Directa, Ta, Figa Ogan. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honour for me as chairman of the club to stand here and welcome you all to honour the people that has came before us and the people that is here today that has got this place to the way it is at the minute. If you look around here coming in the gates, you will see an absolutely amazing facility, and that is credit to the 9 people that's named as the founding members and everybody that's sitting here and everybody that has come before us. It's an absolute credit to you. Now, I'm not going to keep you too long because, as Pauline says, there's a lot of people that has to come up and chat, so I'm not going to hug the mic too long. But what I would like to do is I would just like to give just a brief history on the club itself and GAA within the parish. So in 1953, the 9 founding members got together and they formed Lifford GAA Club, which it would have been known back then. There was Harry Carey, he would have been the first chairman, Seamus Finnegan, Michael Murphy, Hughie Shields, Barney McDermott, Billy McKinney, Paddy McKinney, which is glad to see him in good health and sitting here, Charlie Turish and Hugh Doherty. And just, I know Pauline touched on it there, but we were delighted this year to meet Paddy, our honorary president of the club. And so a big round of applause for Paddy being here today, please. Now, while we were paying homage to the 1953 members, it wasn't sort of the first time that there was GAA within the parish, because it sort of stems back to the early 1900s. And in 1921, there was another team that was based in Porthall, Tyrconnell Harps. They were made up of men of Porthall, Bride, Rossgear, and Lifford Town. And again, like they sort of set the sort of format for GAA within the locality. They kind of were going the 1920s, I think, from chatting to Paddy, I think, in the interview, Paddy, you were saying maybe around the 40s that they sort of ceased up a bit. But even there, during the 1930s, we actually had a camogie team, which I didn't know myself, but we had a camogie team in Lifford as well, that they were sort of based out of the Clonlee Park up there. So all this history, we're always trying to gain information. So if anybody ever hears of anything that we should know about, come up to us and tell us, because we're building video archives and we're building written archives, and it's just great to have it for generations to come. So just getting back to the 1953 sort of setup, back in them days, the members didn't have a pitch, a designated pitch. So what they would have done is they would have had certain fields around the community that they would have played in. And one notable one would have been between Lifford here and Ballindrate, which would have been known as Barney's Field. And if you look up here behind Jared, the photographer, if he moves, that's Barney McDermott. Now, Barney, we had a lot of family members here, notably John here, which would have been our former chairperson, and there's a lot of the McDermotts here today, which is great to see. Turlock sitting down here. You know, Barney played a big part in getting, and chatting to Paddy that day, it was Barney that kind of sort of got the football going strong, you know, and it's great that the actual grounds here is named in Barney's honour, Park McDermott. So they had no field, so they kind of played around, but that team, they done both hurling and they done football, and by all accounts the hurling was very strong, and there was a period in the 1950s and 1960s where they had actually taken part in four Donegal County finals, one on two of the occasions in 1958 and 1960. So that's a credit, like, you know, there's a lot of people, and probably a lot of young people around here wouldn't know these kind of things, but unfortunately then in the late 60s, the Lifford GAA club then, they ceased affiliate. So there was a dormancy then with regard to GAA within the place. But then in 1977, there was another group got together and they decided, listen, it's time to get GAA back into the parish of Clonlee. So after a meeting in the Iron Bar in February of 1977, Lifford GAA club was formed back up again. And there was a big milestone hit then in 1979 where I think this was a 7-acre site, and it was purchased of a local man, Pat French. The community all got together, raised the funds, and they were able to buy this. So that was then the new home for the GAA in Lifford, which was absolutely brilliant. That team contested two finals, one of them in 1985 and one in 1987, and they were very close in 1985 to winning the sort of first adult sort of competition for the Lifford GAA. They were beat by a last-minute goal, so it must have been hard at the time for anybody involved in the club. So then, 1989, that club then, they ceased to affiliate for another 3 years. So in 1992, as you all know, was a great year for football within Donegal when we won our first All-Ireland. There was another meeting by a lot of members, a lot of good Gaels around the area, and they came together and they formed what we now know as Naomh Pádraig. Naomh Pádraig, as you can see here now, from listening again, I keep referring back to Paddy because Paddy's the first fellow that we interviewed for the archives, and he was telling us whenever they used to play on the pitches that they were getting changed on a side of a hedge, and the rain battering down around them. You know, there was no fancy changing rooms or showers or nothing back in them days. They had leather balls, but by all means, that whenever they get soaking wet, they would have nearly taken the head off you, never mind trying to score a point with them. But, you know, that's testament to the type of people that they were. They kept at it, and when you look around here now and you see what we have, you know, it's thanks to Paddy and the men that was like him to keep that spirit alive. So in 2003 was another big milestone, because the first facilities was built here for us, the first changing rooms and clubhouse, which was the old building, which is it's changing rooms now, that we're going through a big development at the minute that's going to take us to another level with regards to the way the club is. Since that, there's a lot of fundraising was done. I think, John, you were in charge at the time, for the new pitch was laid. We had a training pitch was laid. This here was the whole new big build that was done. So the community really rallied around the club, and we got them facilities, and as you can see, like, it's absolutely brilliant. We have a lot of future projects that we've coming up. Like, we have a good development team there between Patricia McIntyre down here, who deserves, I have to say, Patricia, I'm going to ask for a round of applause for you, because the work you do for the club is unbelievable. So folks, could I give Patricia? And again, John McDermott, her right-hand man when it comes to getting these things done. They're a good team, and the stuff that they get done is absolutely brilliant. We have, where we're at, we're in a great neutral venue within the county in Ulster. We have a great place with great facilities, so we've built up a great relationship with yourself, Mary, and Joanne through the Donegal GA with the LGFA. We've had hurling matches down here, we've had county finals, we've hosted Ulster School Boys finals, and we've done all stuff like that there. And it's great to be able to turn around and put Lifford there for these things. This year as well now, because of just the development that's going on with McCool Park, we've agreed for McCool senior team to play their home games here. So there's going to be some magnificent matches played here, senior football, you know, with calibre of teams like that coming down to play from around the county, as well as our own teams. So listen folks, social media, for starters, I'm just going to pitch this one now. Social media is always putting out whenever the games is on, and we really would strongly encourage you, whether it be under sixes down training, up to the senior men playing football matches, look and come down, support, and it's amazing the knock-on effect that can have for a team, that community spirit getting behind them. So I'm just going to go chat now just a wee bit about the actual today's ceremony, how it came about. So in August last year, there was a meeting held here between Patricia Packy Keeney and Austin Daly, and Austin really believed that there should be something held here to celebrate and pay homage to the people that got us to where we were at. So they decided on the plaques. So with a bit of research from Packy Keeney, and then research that had already done by former club member and coach Fanny Galler from out at Guystown out there Grey Road, they were able to identify and name the 9 members of the original Lifford GA. And so that was them got. That was a big one then, and they decided then that they would form subcommittee then in order to identify the next people that was involved in the 77 and the 1992. And there was a drop-in night here during the year as well, and there was just different wee things, and we were able to identify all the members that was on it. There's 63 people mentioned in the frame. Some of them are actually, I think it might be 77 in total that's named, but some of them are on both because they were involved in 2 committees. And unfortunately, we have 23 of the members that's on these plaques has passed away, and we really think about them today. And we have 2 of them that's actually coming up now within the next week or 2 that their anniversaries. So again, to their families, just I hope they're happy in heaven looking down on you. So just on the plaques themselves, the first one for the 1953 group, it's got their 9 names engraved on copper. It was done by Neil Ferry from Donegal Copper Crafts. Is Neil here? Neil's not here. So Neil Ferry, he's down in Maharorty, but he done an absolutely beautiful job. The 1977 and 92 was designed by Signworks up in Convoy, and it was printed on embossed paper, which was printed out by Donegal County Council. And then all 3 frames then was expertly framed then by Jared McHugh up in Balbuffet. So you'll see them after the unveiling, they're absolutely stunning. And I would just like to thank Austin Daly who footed all the bill for any of the plaques that's here. So other than that, folks, that's all I have to say. Any of the history and stuff like that, I would just ask you to just keep a wee look on YouTube. There's a page out there, Lifford Archives, and any of the work that myself, Packy and Patricia will be doing now, gathering the video, it's all going to be uploaded onto that. So just from myself again, massive thank yous for you all coming out here today. I hope you enjoy the rest of the evening, and I can't wait to mingle with you later on. So, Gura Míle Maigh.
Thank you for that, Martin. It was lovely to hear the history of the club. Next up, we have Mary Coughlin, the chairperson of Donegal GAA. So, Mary, I'd like to invite you up to say a few words, please.
Gura Míle Maigh Uachtaran and Cumann a Chailly Vanity Macholaki ó LGFA tá Esaram an seo féhan seo a bhirdeanta ag an cealú bheith seo go dtíreacht chun ahananta sa chóirt don star obair atá deanta ag an Cumann seo a Lifford ní Pádraig. Agus go maiith le sin deistú an casa le chéile agus anc siar sár obair atá deanta ag ahanana in san Lifford agus an Forestú. Delighted to be here on behalf of CLG Naomh, and I want on our behalf to congratulate Naomh Pádraig. When you listen to the history and the fact that it had its ups and downs, at the same time there was always that gra for the GAA and most particularly for the games, and providing the occasion for everyone to participate and enjoy them. And it's testament to the people who've gone before us, of the work that they have done, and that over that time people were able to build and develop. It is an absolute credit to those who came together and, as you rightly said, without facilities, without anything probably, that they were able to enjoy the game and, without a shadow of a doubt, make their parish proud and make their club proud. And to see today and look at what's happening in this club, it is absolutely fantastic. All of the facilities, all of the support from your sponsors, when I look out here, there's one word that comes to mind, and that's volunteer. There's a man out here putting out flags for a game at 6:30, and probably without him that wasn't going to happen. So he's not able to sit in here and enjoy the occasion because he has to get ready, and that is a reflection of who we are as GA people. We're all volunteers. We don't do it for ourselves, we do it for others. And to allow and afford young people the opportunity to play the games is absolutely wonderful. It is great for them. It builds that community and that community spirit, as well as keeping people fit and healthy. And I want to commend all of you who are here to support and recognise those who have gone before us. And it's great, we're going to listen to the President today. I haven't had the chance to know him, but I'd say now he was a tough boy in his day. I didn't know too many saints about this club either. I wouldn't have been here too often, but we'll be meeting soon, I think at the beginning of May, because with the inclemency of the weather, we've had to put off our game last weekend. But we look forward to that. But certainly to see over a short period of time what has been achieved. And my message today is congratulations to you all, to the membership and to the executive, to wish you well in your endeavours. I've already probably going to get caught now for a ticket for something, because I'm sure John has great ideas, and rightly so, because if you don't have that passion and if you don't have those great ideas, you won't have something to reach to do, and without a doubt that's what's going to happen in this club. And to see that you've been able to, one thing finally to say is this: I want to commend you for making your facilities available to others. It is one of the things that is posing great difficulties for Joanne and I, that a lot of the clubs are not making their facilities available to other clubs when they need them. That you're able to facilitate McCool's because they are doing their work, and there might be reciprocity there in due course. I know you work very well with the ladies, and you've also afforded the Cabogie ladies' opportunities to be here. So I want to commend you for that, because at the end of the day, it's all for one and one for all, and we need to support each other through thick and thin. Cogages, Ilig, agus Gunyari live, Fiav Lane, Fivole, agus Ekfes, so Gunyari, the Fiav Lane, Yismo.
Thanks so much, Mary, for your lovely kind words, and thanks for agreeing to buy whatever John's selling today. Wait, we made a note. Next up, we have Joanne McKinney, who is the chairperson of the LGFA. So I invite you up to say a few words, please, Joanne.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's great to be here. And thank you to Naomh Pádraig for the invitation. And it's great to meet Paddy, an honorary member of your club. And I must congratulate you on your idea for recognising the work that went before you. It's something I spoke about recently in our own club, that, you know, we're there, we're doing the work on the ground, and the same applies to Donegal LGFA. We're only doing the work on the ground to keep it going for the next generation. We don't own it, we're just doing our best to keep it going. So it's very fitting that you recognise the people who done the groundwork and put the foundations in for this club. And it is an unbelievable facility. I understand, being on the border area, it is very difficult in every sense to have a club with this level of facilities. And the people, you all here in the room and the people that went before you, are responsible for that, so I must congratulate you on that. It has been unbelievable coming here. Our first visit, it's not that many years ago. The Donegal LGFA has only recently built up the relationship with Naomh Pádraig, and I have to say we have been welcomed with open arms on every occasion, from John to Gary to now Martin. It has been unbelievable. And I have to mention Patricia. I know she already got a round of applause, but you probably don't know Patricia is a very big part of the LGFA. She sits way in the background, but she is a very, very important feature in the LGFA. Without her, we couldn't actually exist. So I want to give her another round of applause. As I said, we've always been welcomed here. We're welcomed in not as many as we would like facilities around the county, but we do have a great relationship with a lot. Naomh Pádraig is actually one of the favourite venues, and we're very thankful that we get to come here and share your facilities. So I want to wish you well in the future. Congratulations again on the idea this evening, and best wishes to everybody.
Joanne, for your lovely kind words as well. I'd like to say on behalf of Naomh Pádraig, we love hosting LGFA matches. It's great to have you coming, and it's great to see girls and women in sport and doing so well done. Now our next speaker is Paddy Keeney. Paddy was voted the Donegal Person of the Year in 2025, and he recently collected his award there a few weeks ago down in Dublin at a ceremony. So I'd like to say many congratulations again, Paddy, for that achievement. Well done. Former player for Naomh Pádraig. He has held roles at both club and county level. He was instrumental in the reforming of the club in 1977 and is now currently one of our club trustees. He was also a member of the club history subgroup, and he was instrumental in gathering information for today's event. So I'd like to invite you up to say a few words. Please, Paddy.
A cairr common Lou class scale in Naomh, really. Agus a cairr boy an fáilte chur of achandanya tan Shaw and you. I was glad to hear Marty crediting for Celtic as something, because if you look at the photograph down there at the very back, you'll see a picture of the very first match we played in 1977. We ordered a set of jerseys and they didn't show up in time and Lifford Celtic very kindly loaned our jerseys, and it's in that picture down there behind Tom Daly. And Tom Daly, it's nice to see Tom Daly back here. He was the treasurer of the club here at the stage, and a great member. And of course, he's gone to all sort of different levels at Ulster Council. So Tom used to play with us here as well. Anyway, it's an amazing gathering. It's an amazing gathering to see what's happening here today. Kind of started out of a press article that happened a few years back, and I know there was no malice intended, but there was a section of the club that, when there was an item written, it disappeared. And so I didn't feel good about it at the time, because we've had some amazing members here who put in tremendous effort back in '77 when we bought this field here. So we wanted to recognise that, and today we have achieved that. So for me, it's a very happy day. The '77, I came here to Lifford in Christmas '69. I was just after being elected chairman of our drag club, who were celebrating 50 years in existence. And then, of course, there was no club in Lifford, but through Sean Boyle, who was county PRO, and he's here today, just sitting behind us there. Sean was a Lifford player in his time, and he kept prompting me all the time to start the club in Lifford. And at that stage then, I was tied up with Ardra for a while. That didn't work out because you're travelling from Lifford to Ardra. But eventually I did become a county selector in '75 for 3 years then, and I worked with Brian McInniff, Sean O'Donnell and John Hannigan. But after that then, Sean was still PRO and he was still prompting. So Danny Bannigan, who was a former fullback with Ballyshannon and played in really good Ballyshannon teams and was really a great Gael. We stayed in digs together here in Lifford on a few occasions, and we often chatted, of course, football. And so we said, you know something, there's one way of dealing with this, we'll have a meeting about it. And we had a meeting in the Iron Bar, as Marty still said there. And we were amazed at the turnout, and all the people that I mentioned were there. And there was a few special people there just that I want to recognise, and for a couple of things that went on. Danny Bannigan became chairman that night, and Brendan David, out of custom and excise, a Limerick man, became involved. And we had the McDermott family who have been mentioned. They were all there on that occasion. Joe Gormley, an amazing man from Ballindrate. And Joe went on. When we purchased the field here, we had drainage to do and all that sort of thing. By the way, we started playing at the bottom of the Rohan, which is about half a mile from here. And then we wanted to have a field nearer the town, and we got this opportunity through Seamus Gibbon, actually, Shay Gibbon's father, who approached Tom French, and Tom agreed. Danny Bannigan and myself bought the pitch off them for £5,000 back in 1977. And so we grabbed at it, but we were after running a 10-week draw, and we needed money. And then we decided to run another 10-week draw, which did push the parish a bit, but they responded. So we ended up with buying the pitch with some help from Ulster Council, and so that was we wanted to establish a pitch in Lifford, because every time I come back down here, Sean Boyle would say that the club folded. What happened? With no pitch. So you can only have a club really while you have a pitch, and that's what that pitch, we may have faltered on a few occasions over all the years, but the pitch was always there, ready to go back to and develop, which has happened. So 77, we had Danny Bannigan, bus conductor, later became a bus inspector. We didn't want to stretch the parish too much, and Danny had 300 people on £1 per week on his books, collecting £1 each week, so to make it easy on people. And he did all that with a smile on his face, Joe Gormley, at the time we developed the pitch, Ian had it in it, he had a lorry. He carried all the stones into the drains in that pitch down there and paid for them himself. And you know, that was the kind of commitment that we had. So that could go on for different stories for a long time about the people who were involved and who all gave a great effort. And we had a lot of fun, as Mary mentioned. We didn't have the facilities, but we had a lot of fun playing football as well throughout the county. And we had hard luck stories and good luck stories, and we lost a couple of county finals and so on and so forth. But it all kept going, and then we had the break then about 68, actually, 68. Did I say 68? We folded, and we had folded in 68. We restarted it in 77. It went on until about 78, as Martin mentioned, and then we had the reformation in 1992. The All-Ireland, that's the success that the All-Ireland back brought us. And then the other one big plus that happened at the club in the meantime, which didn't dare happen on our day, the ladies joined. And I'll tell you something now, hold on to the ladies, because the day that they entered the Lifford Club, they made all the difference. And ideas and coming forward. So the J would not be what it is. I'm around for a long time. It would not be what it is, only for the ladies. So look after the ladies for coming. So it's a good job, John. You have ladies here. They're very positive in relation to the whole club. So that's kind of where we're at. The other person must recognise is Austin Daly here. Austin is a very shy guy, doesn't say a word, but he's there in the background. You go looking for a bit of help, and believe me, he has helped this club greatly. Never took a day's credit for it, you know. So people like that are invaluable, you know. So look after them too, our sponsors. I met the Murphy family there, just coming in the door with Michael Murphy. It's a great name in Donegal. And their father was Michael Murphy. He was a Clare man. They tell me the first secretary of the Lifford Club, and of course Paddy McKinney was there at that time. He's the only survivor now of the whole setup. They're Clare people. Sean Boyle, we have a bit of information the last night. There was a guy here called Eamon Hannon, and he was apparently he was the initial 53 group. He sponsored a cup for this club in hurling. There's a hurling history here as well. It's still all to be revived, and there's a lot of people in this parish who played hurling in their young days, won championships, and it all folded eventually. But that tradition will one day be revived, and so the Murphy family is just an example of the people that are here tonight and are today, of course. You know, Gaels who came into Lifford, customs and excise and guards, and kept the GA alive here along with the locals, played their part. That cup that Sean Boyle has taken back to the club today came out in 1962, when Eamon Welsh, who was a famous custom man here in Lifford and a hurling referee, a member of refereeing the county final in Letterkenny, that was the last time they got the over, and Dunlow playing in a county final. There was a hurling match beforehand, and Eamon with a suit on him and a pair of bicycle clips refereed the game. Got a knock in the face for his trouble and bled, and got dressed up and continued and finished the game. So he had a cup who Eamon Hannon, who was a Clare man, donated to the club, and he gave it to Sean Boyle in 1962. They were thinking of playing football competition here underage. Sean was bringing it back to the club today from that period, And, just parts of the history. And as Marty said, if you know anything about the club, the people who are here today, write us a wee note, wee email, text, or anything at all. Just we're able to piece different pieces together that were lost, and we're now regaining them back again. So with that, I want to congratulate the club again, of course, and Paddy, the only surviving member. And I'm delighted that here we have our people that we wanted to honour, and this will it'll tie the actual three kind of generations of the whole Lifford Club together from 53 to 2028. So it's a good thought, and thanks very much.
Thanks very much, Peggy. You're a wealth of knowledge, and it's great to hear all the stories, so it is. Thanks a million. Our next speaker is John McDermott. John is the grandson of Barry McDermott, who was one of our founding members. John's late father, Daisy, and late uncle John Francis have a long association within the club. John's uncle Enda has a long associated, also being honoured on both the 1977 and 1992 plaques. And I've seen Enda earlier. It's great to have you here today, Enda. John held the chairmanship of Naomh Pádraig for 10 years, and during that time he oversaw significant development within the club. So John, I'd like to invite you now to say a few words, please.
Thank you, Colin. Fáilte go léir inniu. It's lovely to see such a big crowd here. It's both an honour and a pleasure to stand here today amongst my peers as we recognise and celebrate the contributions made by our founding members of 1953 and many others who contributed to the club in the 1977 and 1992 eras. As anybody who doesn't know me from around the area, or maybe people who have travelled from near and far today, my name is John McDermott, and I'm a chairman. Sorry, my speech is a bit redundant now, but I was chairman here from 2014 to 2023. Really enjoyed my time in this role, but I've been asked to speak here today as the grandson of Barney McDermott, who the pitches and the grounds was named after here. Barney had 4 sons, 3 of them, Daisy, Enda and John Francis, all served on the committee here over the years, taking the roles of chairperson, treasurer and secretary. Barney has also got currently 2 grandchildren on the committee this year. He's had 2 different grandchildren, Brian McKinney and Mel McKinney, who held post as secretary and treasurer over the years as well. So we still have, Barney still has got grandchildren playing with the club that are under age level at the minute, and although I've known about the club all my life because it's always been here, I never appreciated the history of it until I got involved in this project, which was started back in last August or so. As Warren Buffett said, someone is sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago. So it's important to remember the work that the others have put in the years past, because without them, we would not be here today. If the club hadn't been formed in 1953, there wouldn't have been any need to purchase the land in 1977. And if the club hadn't purchased the land in 77, we would have nowhere to play in 1982 when the club was reformed. So Tom Daly said in an interview here in 2021 that it was a wise decision to buy the land when he did. To me, that is a sign that we can only build on what others have done before us. It could take up to 73 years for your efforts to be recognised, Paddy. And I appreciate it, but it takes time for actions to become history. And that history now should last for an eternity. This is also a good opportunity for me now to talk briefly about the future of the club. In the last 3 weeks, the land that borders our club down at the bottom here below our training area has come on the market for sale. There's 10.2 acres and would allow us to expand to almost 3 full-size pitches and some extra car parking space as we need when we host games here. The club committee has made the decision to try and buy this land And it's not about what the club needs now, it's what the club will need in the future. So we have to plan a long way ahead. It's estimated that the land could cost up to 100,000. Could go for less than that. Hopefully it will not go for any more than that, but that is kind of what the club has in its head that it could cost. 100,000 could be a very daunting figure to people. It would require us to sell 10,000 €10 tickets, which would take a lot of work. But it could also be only a matter of 20 people within the parish buying a half an acre each and giving it to the club. And as Mary has now volunteered, the first pitch, Mary, people will be shooting into Mary's end. So, look, in that regard, we're only limited by what our imagination can do. And in 50 years' time, this hall will be packed with people who will remember the actions of our generation. I'd like to thank everyone who came today and everyone who was in the subgroup that was headed up by Patricia McIntyre, Packie Keeney, and to Austin Daly for sponsoring the plaques, which will be unveiled here in a minute. And to everyone else who is working today. As Mary said, there's people out in that pitch there setting up cones, there's people down the back making tea, and it's the small things that make a club work. If anyone who would like to get involved, if this has sparked a bit of nostalgia within you, please make yourself known. If there is any history or photographs that is out there, please let it be known to the club, because it has been documented at the minute. So I would just like to thank everyone again. Gora Mayagov, have a good evening and safe travels home.
Thanks a million for that, John.
There's a matter of interest, 5,000 in 1977 was 40,000 today.
Oh,
So it's just about double what we spent.
imagine.
So it's not beyond us.
No, there's nothing beyond us and the Pádraig packet. When you have somebody who's raising his jaw. Thank you, John, for those words. That was lovely. Next, we're going to move on to the unveiling of the plaques. Now, when we were choosing who we wanted to unveil the plaques, there was only one person the club wanted for this honour, and that's our club president, Paddy McKinney. Paddy is the sole surviving founding member of Naomh Pádraig. We had the great privilege of interviewing Paddy for Archives recently, where he shared his many memories with us. And if anybody, as Martin was saying earlier, would like to view this, it's on YouTube, and it is a very enjoyable watch. Not only is Paddy an accomplished author, but he is also a true inspiration to anybody that knows him. So on that note, Paddy, I'd like to invite you up to unveil the plaques, please. Paddy, I'd like to invite you to say a few words, if that's okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. San Falta. Augusta Daniela. Camera Arus Ahason Abi and Shaw Mas McCarthy. The Dania As Lifford August and Cantor. We Cantor Lifford John Lee. I get It's just a being in it, love. I was, it has from Foster to be part, so he Pádraig, and be of a, I was la part, no, the last special, this special, this special day. Last special day, Kinja, gone down. With, special delay, Fahamud Arash, Gujian, and Naomh, the Hussey and Club. Nijig, Kuga, a Dri. Credim, no credim. 3 bliain seachtó óhain. 3 bliain seachtó óhain. Bhí me seán, agus tá me sé níos tabhata. Bhí me seo an seo anis. Agus special to commemorate. As Kevalam Gumayhe, as Kevalam and the last Gumayhe. Be the Dinya and then it come be the Dinya Guhenta. Can you go henta? Oh man. I guess. I'll continue now and ask Bera. Yeah. Good. Thank you. This is, I said special time, but this is a special date because this is when we do remember all that has happened in the past over the years since 1952, 53, or no Martian, 53. And we commemorate that. And why do we commemorate? Well, we commemorate the memories of the people who were responsible, and all, so many have passed on. And Abani, bless them all now, and Gunyani J. Trocreate. The names, there are so many names, I cannot attempt to remember them all, but the club was formed in 1953, and I was there, of course. And pleased to say I'm still here. And the names that come to mind, I can responsible for it all. Like, you've mentioned it a few times already. A few times the name Barney McDermott has cropped up. Well, Barney would have been responsible for keeping the idea of the Gaelic Athletic Association alive in this area. No doubt about that. He worked hard to do so. The club was formed in 1953 with Harry Carey, Seamus Finnegan, Michael Murphy, to mention but a few, and my brother Billy, okay, August, my late brother Billy, Hugh Doherty, Danny McNamee, and Hugh Crossan, Jerry Crossan, John McCormick. All old, I call the old Gaels. And they had Wally Lynch, we had Dennis Ward, and then you would not believe or associated them with the football club. Wally Lynch and Dennis Ward and the McCrory brothers, Spring Hill. Brian was one of the early first on the team, played on the team, Brian McCrory. Oh, the other names that come to mind now, my good friends, Sean Higgins, Wally Higgins there, really. And Michael, Charlie and Hugh Shields, Joe Conor Drumlin, oh my God. Colin Lynch, Colin came up a little bit later, Colin, a stalwart of the team, indeed he was. And then the Lifford, of course, you had then, in Lifford we had Austin Daly, our own Austin Daly, the Daly family indeed. And Packy Keeney and Michael, Danny Bannigan, people who came into Lifford and made Lifford their home and contributed immensely to the welfare and the development of the DA club in Lifford. So rambling thoughts for what they're worth. So it's a pleasure to me to be here with you. And long may the club progress, survive and progress. Well, Naomh, Pádraig Aboo. I need all the help I can.
Thanks very much, Paddy. It was great to have you speaking here today. Thanks a million. And thank you for unveiling the flags too. We really appreciate it.
Pleasure was mine.
That takes me now on to the thank yous. I want to say a massive thank you to all the guest speakers. I'm sure you can all agree it was great to hear the stories of days gone by. I want to thank everybody for attending today. It's great to see such huge numbers. I want to say thank you to everyone who has helped in the organising and of the smooth running of today. Thank you to the members of the Club History subgroup for helping gather information for the event. And again, a special thank you to Patricia McIntyre. Patricia is one of our current development officers and she goes over and beyond in everything she does. Her passion for club history, hard work, time and efforts brought this ceremony from an idea to fruition. So thank you so much, Patricia. Thank you to Naomh Ferry from Donegal Coppercraft for making the plaques. I'm sure you can all agree they turned out so beautiful. Thank you to our sponsor of the plaques and a member of the Club History subgroup, Austin Daly. Thank you for your kind generosity, Austin. That's very much appreciated by everybody. And lastly, thank you to the photographer, Jared Gormley, and the videographer, Aidan Gillespie, for capturing another important moment of history for the club for years to come. So that brings us now to the end of today's ceremony, but there's a few points before I let you all go, if that's okay. We'd like to invite everyone to have pictures taken with the plaques. There will be professional pictures taken, so we'd ask that people do hang around, please, and get pictures taken. Now, the plaques are going to be moved downstairs after today's event. They're going down to the ground floor where they'll be displayed then going forward. We also have a guest book for today's event and would love if everybody would take the time to sign it and maybe leave a wee message if you can. And lastly, we'd like to invite you to stay for some refreshments. So enjoy the rest of your evening. Go real Mila go. Now help yourselves, everybody.